Okay, so what I've got in here is my 6 cups of store-bought vegetable broth. I did add in 1.5 tablespoons of the dry vegetable broth mix that I make up. And there is a video on that. I'm going to let this heat up so that the powdered vegetable can just really kind of marry into the liquid. We'll see how it tastes. One thing that I did not do in the video that I should have done, or to make the dried powder, is you want to add parsley flakes. And I'm just going to put just a few in here. I'll put the recipe down below for it. That is, the parsley is not something that you put into the blender whenever you're making the powdered mix up. So no harm done with that part of it. But I'm going to let this heat up. I'm going to go get the rest of the vegetables ready to go, and I will be back. So I'm going to get my wild rice out. It calls for a cup of it. This is broken wild rice from Azure Standard. I'll put a price in down below. It comes by 5 pounds. The broken rice is actually quite a bit cheaper than what the whole wild rice is, and as you can tell, it doesn't really look that much different, and it tastes exactly the same, and it is quite a bit less expensive. I'm just going to give this a quick rinse. And put it into the crock pot. Get the rest of that here. I'll work on the rest of it after we get through filming. So that was 1 cup of uncooked wild rice. Let me put my bucket back down here. I have got in this container, or this bowl, is 2 of the celery sticks chopped up. I've got approximately 2 medium carrots. These were the baby carrots, so it was kind of hard to guesstimate. The garlic is 4 cloves that I minced. And the orangey stuff that's in here is from the carrot powder where I made the dried carrots earlier, or the powdered carrots. Then for Old Bay seasoning, it calls for 1.5 tablespoons. This is a 1/2 tablespoon. So I'm going to do 3 of these. The mushrooms, I am going to use canned mushrooms this time. Usually it is fresh mushrooms, but I don't have any, so it's going to be the canned. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the liquid from the can right into it. It gives it that extra mushroomy taste to it. And I won't be adding any salt to this because this does have salt in it. After it's cooked, we'll do a little taste try and see how it tastes. So there's 1 can. And here is the 2nd can. This will make 8 ounces. And I may have to, I already had an onion chopped up. I may have to add more onion to it. We'll see. I always have onion diced up. And I have it in the freezer too, where it's diced up. It just makes it easy. But it did call for 1 small onion, peeled and diced. And then I am going to put in, I'm drawing a blank here. I am going to put in my I got the Old Bay seasoning in there. I've got to get 1 bay leaf to put in it. I'm going to put my coconut milk in, which is hiding back here. And it calls for 1 14-ounce can of unsweetened coconut milk, which is what this is. And I've got to be honest, I think that the canned coconut milk, you can't get the taste from what comes in the containers, the quart-size containers. just put this in here. And always look in your clearance sections. This can happen to be in the clearance section. It was 50% off. There were 2 of them, so I just got 1. But I do see things like this quite often in the markdown section. Just going to give this a stir here. And this will call for kale. I have got Swiss chard instead, which is growing in my garden. So I'm going to go out and pick some of that and add that instead of the kale. It calls just for 2 large handfuls of that. And it calls for 1 large sweet potato, and I do not have any sweet potatoes. Unless, you know what, I have got canned sweet potatoes. So I think that I will probably just get out a can of those, rinse them off, and they're already soft. So whenever it gets closer to the end of this cooking time, I will add those into it. You're not going to get it and has quite a solid chunk as what you would from a regular sweet potato. I had thought about just adding in a regular white potato to it and then trying to do something with a little bit of sweetness to it, like raisins, but I think I'm just going to go for the canned sweet potatoes. So this is going to cook for about 2 hours. I'll start checking it in an hour to see how it does. I'm going to leave it up on the high. The rice should be done by then. I'm going to go find my bay leaves, put one of those in here. And the recipe that I got, it was actually written for a Instapot, but we're doing it in the slow cooker because it is Crocktober, and this is actually using a lot of my storage supplies, like the rice. I had the coconut milk in stock, the Old Bay seasoning, the veggie powder that I added to the broth, and the broth itself came from storage also. So there is a lot that you can do if you have a variety of things. You can make so many dishes with it. And I just really encourage everybody to experiment with cooking, take advantage of using that crock pot because you can be off doing something else. Just come back and check it every once in a while. So I will see you guys in an hour or 2. I'll see how it's doing in an hour and we'll go from there. So this is the finished product on my wild rice soup, and I gotta tell you, it looks so good. And yes, I have tasted it, and it is so good. But I highly encourage you to give this a try. If you like wild rice, you can sub out whatever you want to in this to make it your own recipe. I gotta take a bite here real quick. This is gonna be perfect on a cold winter day, or if I'm traveling. I can take this with me, put it in a thermos. I've got a little crock pot that I can plug in and take with me in the car to keep it nice and warm. There's so many things that you can do with this. Add your own, and actually I'm going to try something. Not very vegan. I have gotten these as a snack. And this is the child in me wanting to do this. I'm putting some goldfish crackers in here, and I just want to see what it tastes like. That is good, guys. Hope y'all enjoy your day. If there's any soup recipes that you want to see tried out, just let me know. Leave a comment in the comments, and I'll see what I can do about doing one. Everyone have a great day, and catch you in the next video.